Have you ever noticed your partner mentioning someone else with admiration, saying things like, "So-and-so really understands me"? It might sound innocent, but these subtle signals often reveal much more than we realize. In today's video, we'll uncover 6 phrases that, while they seem harmless on the surface, can be early warning signs of emotional distance. Stick with us until the end to gain a deeper understanding of these phrases and how you can address them thoughtfully to strengthen your relationship. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. Number 1. So-and-so understands what I'm going through so well. When your partner starts frequently mentioning someone else, especially with a tone of admiration and respect, it may be a sign that something deeper is at play. The phrase, "so-and-so understands what I'm going through so well," might sound innocent at first, like a harmless acknowledgement of someone's empathy or insight. Yet, when this kind of statement starts to appear repeatedly, it often signifies an emotional shift, a subtle but meaningful change in how she views her connection with you compared to this other person. What sounds like a passing remark could be the early stages of something much more significant. She may be finding solace, comfort, and understanding in someone else, establishing a bond that, if left unchecked, could deepen into a form of intimacy that feels more fulfilling to her than the connection she shares with you. This isn't just a harmless comparison, it's a subtle revelation. With each mention of this person's understanding, she is suggesting, whether intentionally or not, that she's beginning to find emotional refuge outside the relationship. These kinds of phrases aren't mere statements, they're signals that she might be building a mental and emotional space for this person, creating a sense of closeness that she no longer feels with you. Often, she may not even be aware of the significance of her words, nor the impact they may have on you. In her mind, it may feel harmless or even comforting to share that someone gets her, in a way she feels you no longer do. But, in reality, each mention serves as a small but powerful reinforcement, slowly shaping an emotional connection that could rival or even replace what you share together. The subtlety of these comments, the casual tone, the almost offhand nature of the praise, can make them easy to overlook or brush aside. But that's exactly why they're so important to pay attention to. When she says, "They understand what I'm going through," it's more than just a statement about empathy. It's an indicator that she is seeking and possibly finding something outside the relationship that fulfills her in a way you're no longer able to. This other person, who seems to understand her struggles and emotions so well, may start to become her confidant, her emotional rock, the one she turns to in moments when she feels misunderstood or unappreciated. This connection, fueled by shared understanding and mutual empathy, can become a powerful draw, creating an emotional dependency that can be difficult to break. If these mentions become frequent, and phrases like, "they really get me," or "they seem to understand my struggles in a way no one else does," start cropping up regularly, it's crucial to acknowledge what's happening. Take a moment to look beyond her words and recognize the emotional pathway she's paving toward this person. With each mention of their understanding, she may be unwittingly cementing a foundation of emotional closeness that could grow into something more intense. And the more she talks about this person, the stronger that foundation becomes. This isn't just casual praise, it's the gradual buildup of a new emotional dependency, one that could potentially surpass what you share together. Such repetitive praise and consistent comparisons should prompt you to consider who this person is and what they're bringing into her life that she feels is lacking in your relationship. What role is this person playing for her emotionally? Are they the friend who listens without judgment, the coworker who empathizes with her challenges, or perhaps the confidant who understands her dreams and aspirations in a way that makes her feel seen and valued? Ignoring these signs might allow this connection to deepen to a point where it creates a rift in your relationship that becomes harder and harder to bridge. Recognizing these signals early and addressing them openly could be essential to preserving the relationship before this gap widens to an irreparable degree. This is a sensitive and complex situation, and it's important to approach it with empathy and understanding. Jumping to conclusions or reacting with anger could drive her further away and push her closer to the emotional sanctuary she's already building elsewhere. Instead, consider this as a moment for reflection and honest communication. Ask her what she's feeling and if there's anything she feels is missing within your relationship. Express how her comments about this other person make you feel, not as accusations, but as a way to show your own vulnerability. Let her know that you want to be the one she turns to, the person she feels understands her best. These conversations, though challenging, could help you both reconnect and address any gaps in your relationship before they become too deep to mend. Number 2. Don't worry, I'm just going out with some friends. At first glance, the phrase, "Don't worry, I'm just going out with some friends," may seem harmless and straightforward, a simple reassurance to ease any concerns you might have. Yet, beneath its calm and casual exterior often lie layers of complexity and, potentially, deception. When someone is hiding something or engaging in behavior they're reluctant to share, they tend to rely on routines and familiar excuses that make it easy to deflect suspicion. This phrase, spoken as if it's no big deal, can sometimes be a carefully chosen tactic, granting her the freedom to pursue activities that might not be as innocent as they appear. The reassurance embedded in "don't worry" is particularly strategic. It's meant to neutralize your concerns, disarming you with a sense of trust while subtly discouraging any further questioning. The phrase creates an unspoken boundary. Questioning her plans could feel intrusive or even controlling. Over time, this excuse becomes like a protective shield, meticulously crafted to maintain an image of normalcy and trust while allowing her to conceal underlying intentions or behaviors. The more frequently she uses this line, the more it serves as a means of distance and evasion, allowing her to create a narrative that appears routine and unremarkable, yet may harbor much deeper complexities. As this phrase becomes more of a refrain, its repeated use should raise questions in your mind. If her outings start to follow patterns that don't quite add up, if the details in her story seem inconsistent, or if the timing of these friend gatherings feels unusually regular or vague, it's a signal that there could be more to the situation than meets the eye. Small discrepancies might emerge. Details about who she was with, when she left, or how long she stayed out. These shifts can seem minor at first, easy to brush aside as unimportant, yet they may be early signs of something significant being withheld. In such situations, trusting your intuition becomes crucial. People who are distancing themselves emotionally or concealing truths often rely on these innocent phrases as the first line of defense. The phrase, while seemingly inconspicuous, can act as a carefully placed barrier, making it hard for you to penetrate the real meaning behind it. Each time you accept this reassurance without questioning, the gap between you subtly widens, creating an emotional distance that can be difficult to close. It may be an indication that she's keeping part of her life separate from you, whether intentionally or because she's not ready to fully reveal what's happening. If you observe this pattern over time, recognize the importance of addressing it directly but calmly. Bringing up your concerns can feel intimidating. It's not easy to confront the possibility that something might be off. However, allowing this pattern to continue without question could pave the way for an unspoken rift between you. A gentle, honest conversation about her plans and intentions may offer the clarity you need to either dispel your concerns or bring hidden issues to the surface. In doing so, you can protect the integrity of your relationship before the gap between you grows too wide to bridge, ensuring that both of you feel heard, understood, and genuinely connected. Number 3. I need more space for myself. When your partner voices a desire for more space, it may initially sound reasonable, even healthy. After all, personal space is essential in any relationship to maintain a sense of individuality and well-being. Yet, as comforting as it might sound on the surface, this phrase can sometimes hold a deeper, more complex meaning. While she may frame it as a need for self-reflection or personal growth, this request for space can often mask an intent to create emotional and physical distance within the relationship. By asking for space, she may be signaling an underlying desire to detach, which, if left unexplored, could evolve into a wider disconnect. At its core, the phrase, "I need more space," might not just reflect a longing for solitude, but could serve as a subtle strategy to justify spending more time away from you, possibly with someone else. This distance allows her to pursue interests or relationships that don't align with the commitment expected in your partnership. Rather than openly addressing feelings of dissatisfaction, some may choose this indirect approach as a way to avoid confrontation, instead creating opportunities to explore other connections under the guise of needing independence. This need for space can act as a buffer, permitting her to step outside the boundaries of the relationship without raising immediate suspicion. It gives her the freedom to spend time away while making it difficult for you to question her motives. Each time she steps out with the justification of space, there's a risk that she could be engaging in behaviors or relationships that may gradually pull her further away from the emotional intimacy you once shared. This request, when made repeatedly, can subtly erode the closeness and familiarity that once defined your bond, paving the way for an emotional drift that may be challenging to repair. If this phrase starts to surface frequently, or if her absences become a regular pattern, it may be worth delving deeper. Notice any changes in how she spends her time, the people she chooses to be around, or if she seems guarded when discussing her activities. The small details, how she speaks about this space, her enthusiasm for spending time apart, or the vagueness in her explanations, can often provide insight into her true intentions. It's easy to dismiss this request as a harmless desire for independence, but sometimes it can serve as a pretext for establishing emotional distance, creating the freedom to engage with someone outside the relationship without being questioned. In these moments, trusting your instincts is key. If her actions seem inconsistent with her words, or if she seems to be spending more time away without any clear explanation, it's essential to address your concerns openly. Express your feelings without judgment, letting her know how this newfound distance impacts you and the relationship. Honest communication, while difficult, can provide clarity, either reassuring you of her intentions or revealing underlying issues that need to be addressed. By acknowledging these early signs, you give both of you the chance to reconnect, realign, and strengthen the foundation of trust, preventing the gap from widening into an emotional chasm that becomes too difficult to bridge. Number 4. I'm working late tonight. One of the most common and easily accepted explanations for late nights and absences is work. If your partner starts to frequently mention that she's working late or has unexpected overtime, it's natural to accept this as a valid reason, especially if her job is demanding. However, when this excuse begins to surface regularly, it might signal something more complex beneath the surface. While working late may seem like a logical explanation, it can sometimes be a convenient cover, an easy way to excuse her prolonged absence and avoid questions about her whereabouts. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. When this phrase becomes routine, it's worth paying closer attention to the nuances. Regularly working late can sometimes be more than a simple matter of job-related obligations. It can serve as a well-worn strategy to provide her with unmonitored time outside the home. When she's working late, you're likely not expecting her to check in frequently, and it's understandable if she's unreachable for stretches of time. This creates an ideal environment for her to engage in activities or relationships that she might not want to share, all while maintaining a facade of responsibility and dedication. If her late nights start to follow an unusual pattern or seem to come with few concrete details, that could be a red flag. Has she mentioned new projects, tight deadlines, or other specific reasons for the increased workload? Or does her explanation remain vague and nonspecific? While everyone occasionally has demanding periods at work, repeated, unexplained late nights may suggest that she's using this excuse to carve out time for someone or something else. Inconsistencies in her stories, or hesitation when asked for specifics, can hint that these overtime claims may be masking a larger issue. Notice the details around these late nights. Has her demeanor changed? Does she seem distant, preoccupied, or uninterested when she's home? Are her colleagues aware of this increased workload, or is it only her saying that she's working late? Sometimes, the small discrepancies, like being unable to recall specifics about her projects or avoiding discussing work altogether, can reveal a lot about what's really happening. Trusting your instincts is crucial in these situations. If her repeated absences feel off, or if the work excuse seems to come up with surprising frequency, don't dismiss your intuition. It's important to approach the situation calmly and without accusations. Express your concerns openly, letting her know how these frequent late nights are affecting your trust and the closeness in your relationship. Having a gentle but honest conversation about her time, her priorities, and her work can provide you with clarity, either reassuring you of her sincerity or revealing underlying issues that need addressing. By tackling these signs early, you give your relationship the best chance of preserving trust and openness, ensuring that any growing distance doesn't turn into a lasting divide. Number 5. I think we need some time apart. When a woman suggests that we need some time apart, it may initially appear to be a straightforward and perhaps even constructive approach to addressing challenges within the relationship. After all, taking a step back can sometimes offer clarity, allowing each partner to reflect on what they need and what might be missing. However, while this phrase may sound like an honest attempt at self-reflection or problem-solving, the deeper implications can be more complex and, in some cases, even unsettling. Often, a request for time apart may serve as a subtle means of creating emotional and physical distance, making it easier for her to explore other connections without the usual commitments or expectations of the relationship. This suggestion of time apart creates a unique opportunity for her to redefine boundaries and temporarily detach from the partnership. By framing it as a break, she opens up the freedom to engage with someone new, an emotional or physical involvement that might feel too difficult to pursue with the constant presence and influence of her partner. What seems like a temporary separation for growth and reflection can sometimes be a carefully structured plan, a way of stepping outside the relationship without the usual scrutiny or suspicions. This time apart allows her to test the waters of another connection without necessarily jeopardizing her primary relationship, offering her an escape route where she can seek fulfillment without feeling restrained by the expectations of fidelity. If this request for distance is accompanied by vague explanations, a lack of specific reasons for needing space, or an unwillingness to discuss how this time apart could ultimately benefit the relationship, it's worth paying closer attention. Has she offered any concrete examples of issues she wants to work on? Or is she simply insisting on space without clear intentions or an endpoint? The ambiguity in her request may be intentional, allowing her to maintain an open-ended arrangement where she is free to explore her feelings without accountability. This freedom can foster emotional and even physical closeness with someone else, an experience that can feel fresh, exciting, and unencumbered by the responsibilities of her relationship with you. Over time, this time apart can evolve into more than just a break. It can become a gateway to a new dynamic that may not include you at all. In some cases, this distance can lead her to form bonds that grow deeper and more meaningful than what she shared in the relationship. What may start as a casual break could quietly transform into a lasting separation, fueled by the connections she makes during this period of so-called independence. If she returns, the relationship may no longer hold the same importance for her, having discovered new sources of validation and companionship that feel more aligned with her current desires. If this phrase surfaces often, or if her insistence on taking time apart feels unusually strong or unyielding, it's essential to consider the real motivations behind her request. Look for signs that may reveal if she is investing emotionally in someone else, sudden changes in her routine, a heightened sense of secrecy, or noticeable shifts in how she interacts with you. Rather than allowing this time apart to go unquestioned, consider having an open, honest conversation about her reasons, intentions, and what she truly hopes to gain from this break. It's also helpful to set boundaries, establishing what this time apart means and what it doesn't, so both of you can be on the same page. Facing such a situation requires sensitivity and clarity. Jumping to conclusions or reacting with accusations may push her further away, encouraging her to pursue the distance she's requested. Instead, approach the conversation with understanding, expressing how her request makes you feel and your hopes for the relationship moving forward. By addressing the deeper meanings behind her desire for time apart, you create an opportunity for openness and vulnerability, allowing both of you to understand what might be missing or lacking in the relationship. This way, you can explore whether this break is truly about finding space for personal growth, or if it's the beginning of a more permanent drift, protecting the relationship from potentially irreversible damage. Number 6. You deserve someone better than me. When a woman says, "You deserve someone better than me," this phrase can carry intense emotional weight and hidden meanings. On the surface, it may sound like a humble acknowledgement of her perceived shortcomings or a heartfelt desire for your happiness. However, this statement often holds a much deeper subtext. At its core, it can be a way of expressing guilt, regret, or even a subtle attempt to create distance. Frequently, when someone is engaged in behavior they know is hurtful, such as an extramarital affair or other inappropriate actions, they may use this phrase to begin paving the path for separation. By saying, "You deserve better," she might be trying to subtly release herself from responsibility while justifying actions that could be hurtful to you. This phrase can be her way of indirectly setting the stage for future actions that may lead to a separation. It's an emotionally loaded statement that can suggest a desire to ease her conscience, to prepare you for a future breakup, or even to make her feel less accountable for her actions. Rather than taking direct responsibility for any wrongdoing, she frames the issue as one of her inadequacy, making it appear as if she's not suitable or worthy of your love. This approach subtly shifts the focus from her actions to her perceived flaws, giving her a moral exit, by implying that the issue lies in her inability to be the partner you deserve. For someone who may be struggling with guilt or secrecy, this phrase provides a way to acknowledge their behavior without explicitly admitting to betrayal. What may sound like humility or self-reflection can often be a way to recognize wrongdoing indirectly, allowing her to express a sense of accountability without confronting the full weight of her actions. By casting herself as unworthy, she's both acknowledging the harm she's causing and simultaneously redirecting blame toward herself, allowing her to avoid a full confrontation of the choices she may be making outside the relationship. If you hear this phrase, it's important to be aware of the deeper, more complex emotions at play. This isn't always a straightforward acknowledgement of her insecurities or a genuine wish for you to be happier with someone else. It may indicate she's grappling with her own conscience. She could be wrestling with feelings of guilt for something she knows would hurt you, and this phrase allows her to process these emotions without directly addressing her actions. By expressing her inadequacy, she might be subtly preparing both herself and you for the possibility of a separation, allowing her to distance herself emotionally before taking further steps. Understanding these subtle signs is essential for preserving trust and transparency in any relationship. Phrases like, "You deserve someone better than me," may seem humble and self-sacrificing, but they can be signals of a more significant issue lurking beneath the surface. If these types of statements start to appear, take the opportunity to explore them further. What specific behaviors or qualities does she feel inadequate about? Is there an underlying reason for her sudden sense of unworthiness? Rather than letting these remarks go unaddressed, consider it an invitation for a deeper conversation about the true state of your relationship. Clear and open communication is the cornerstone of any strong partnership, and addressing these concerns directly can bring much-needed clarity to ambiguous situations. Talking through her feelings of inadequacy, exploring any underlying issues, and understanding where her self-doubt is coming from can provide you both with insight into the true state of the relationship. Such conversations, though difficult, can give you both a chance to express your emotions and clear up any misunderstandings before they grow into something more destructive. In the end, addressing these phrases with patience and openness can help you work through unresolved issues, reinforcing the foundation of trust that every lasting relationship needs. Thank you for joining us today. What have you learned about these subtle signs, and how might you approach them differently? Comment below with one insight you're taking away and planning to put into practice in your own life. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights.